moment, Vitor, who joins us now. What an evening for you. Wow, how's your heart rate? Have you recovered? I mean, that was pretty dramatic. Just now, what an evening for you. Wow, how's your heart rate? Have you recovered? I mean, that was pretty dramatic.
We start the game a little bit with nervous and a little bit anxious as well, which make it game divided, second balls, and we knew that would be hard. Then own goal, and we knew that okay, from now on we need to catch the game back from us, and that's it. More than the result, I think is the way we bounce back from that situation, and I think that's quite important.
I'm going to get you put your microphone right up to your mouth because your grounds people are doing a great job, but they're also rather noisy. Thank you. So I'm going to get you to bring it right up so we can hear what you're saying. Adam Eder, I saw you saying to him before he comes up, come on, let's go. You're trying to get him up for it. Obviously he had a great impact because you must have been delighted with the 7 you made there.
Yeah, Adam can offer that. He's a striker. He has this hunger to score, and he knows that he needs that for himself as well to bounce back from a situation where he's not playing and need to create impact on the game. So that was the idea of bringing him on. I'm really happy for him, really happy that he helped the team, and I think that's what we need from all the players when they come on as well. That's the impact that they can have when we are on these games is massive. So really happy for him and for us.
Obviously, it's quite a jump coming from Portugal to the Championship. What made you want to come across, and how have you found it so far? What's the experience been like?
It was not the weather, that's for sure. But yeah, so I like a lot how football is lived here. The passion, the stadiums, the league is one of the most competitive league in the world, and that's what it motivates me to come here. As well, the project of Swansea, how the ownership and how everyone presented to me, the talks we had, the common ground we had all when we were speaking. So that's what was the basics of the decision. And then yeah, so far I'm enjoying a lot of games with it coming up. But yeah, we move forward.
Vitor, how have you found that? You talk about the amount of games and maybe not a lot of time to train and get your ideas across. How have you found the players have responded? You've seen enough in the performances to suggest that they're starting to take what you want to see on the football pitch? Yeah,
the amount of games, it's the reason is what makes this league and the Premier League so special as well. So we know that the most important thing is how we can recover and analyze the game and make the steps forward. Of course, consistency is what can change a little bit because of the amount of games, but we have a squad to use. All the players are important on these moments, and that's what we saw as well today with Ida coming, and I think we need to keep that.
Vitor, you've now won 3 and lost 3. How much did you learn about your team? Probably more in that loss at West Brom when you were 2-0 up, they come back scoring the last minute to win. How much more did you learn in that kind of game than the wins that you had before today?
Yeah, you always have a feedback, and sometimes when you lose, the feedback is stronger. But we knew that the important is that we keep building and going on the direction of our way of playing, and sometimes the result doesn't come across when you are trying to find this consistency. That's what we had especially in that defeat. So we had a good first half, I think one of the best ones in terms of dynamic, and then starts coming the fatigue, starts coming the emotional part of it. West Brom has responded really well on that game as well, and that's what we need to build on. So finding the ways to keep the way of playing, to find ways to stay organized, to have the ball in some moments, to stay up the pitch in some moments as well, using the counter press, using the press to stay competitive, and that's what we learn. How can we do that? How can we keep doing that? And that's the most important thing.
And in and around this being a derby, and also with the way that Swansea want to do things and the way things are done in this football club, how important is it having Leon Britton and having players like that have played for this football club in your coaching staff to be there and help you with that kind of guidance of what it's like to be a Swansea player and be in this environment? I
think it's massive. That's why we want to keep Leon, Joey and Chris with us. I think the three personified what is the Swansea way, and I think that's quite important to keep that, because sometimes there's moments on the clubs that you need this mystic is the right word maybe, that people who personified really well, understand the club, understand the city, understand the values, and that's really good for us. I'm really happy to have them with me, and I think that's something special as well.
Well, Vitor, you've made a lot of Swansea fans very happy for Christmas. So what happens now? Are you going to make them train on Christmas Day? What's the plans?
Yeah, so we play on the 26th.
No mercy.
Merry Christmas. There we are.
There's nothing much to do on that day apart that enjoy the family, and then we have a training as well, and then we travel to Coventry. So it will be a nice travel there, and we hope we're going to have a good game as well, because it will be a massive one.
Okay, well, Merry Christmas, congratulations.
Merry Christmas
3 points for you.
as well.
And we'll let you go. I'll take that off you.
Yes.
Lovely to meet you. And we will hopefully see you later in the season. Congratulations on the 3 points tonight. Vitor, and they've got to train on Christmas Day. That's when you don't miss being a player, right? Where your turkey dinner or vegetarian roast dinner gets ruined.
I didn't mind it, I've got to say. It gets you out the house in the morning for a few hours and all the carnage, and you get back and have a bit of food. So.
No, I think I played you one time and I ate too much. Christmas. I couldn't move.
God, he speaks really well, doesn't he? He's very personable, very warm. We've heard about what he's been doing out in the community, but his tactics are impressive.
Yeah, his tactics in terms of the way he wanted to play things, I think, like we spoke about, the coaches that he's got there in Joe Allen and in Leon Britton, like understanding a football club, understanding a
having
region.
that respect, I suppose, coming in somewhere and
because
respecting
a lot of managers come in and they want to rip it all up, and I'm going to do it my way, this my way or the highway. He's come in, he's got football-wise, yes, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to get across. But he's got those two people to lean on, that game situations, what sub shall we make, what is the right, and he looks around and he's asking them. We see it from the side, so it's not just about everything's about me, it's understanding, and I think he's done a really good job in a very short time so far.
And I also feel that where that's really important, there's certain clubs around the country and in certain leagues that do have an identity, and for very good reason. I think it's a really good fit from a stylistic point of view, coming in, and he's obviously used to playing a certain way. And Swansea fans, I mean, Nath will say it better than anyone, are used to seeing a certain type of football on the pitch, and I feel that he's been able to come in and using those people around the club to understand that, really make that quite apparent early on. You can see an identity already. He speaks about the counter press, and they showed that tonight, where it was really difficult for Wrexham to get out, and that's why they had wave after wave of attack. So far, a really, really good start for everyone.
I think what I liked as well is that they had possession, a lot of possession, but they also had players that came off the bench that gave a different dynamic to the game as well. You can always have one style of play, but he was able to bring on Eom and Valkyrie, so it changed the dynamics of things, and Ida coming on as well, different personnel. So, I think he's got a good team, and I hope he, continues and keeps progressing.
And he's obviously, there were a few boos when he knew to come off, because we ourselves, we thought he can't be coming off, because he was actually being quite active, and he took him off, but ultimately they've gone and won the game. So fair play to him, because he got his subs right.
Let's hear it again, and I'll use my line again. Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's a good one.
Thank you. I just had to shoot
Job like that one.
He did. Curtis liked Arthur Christmas, but Arthur Christmas was a good guy, and this wasn't a good moment for poor Arthur Anokwo. But look, all good strikers are always on the mark, aren't they, Nathan?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously you just got to be around it, and you can sniff that. And that's a sign of a good goal scorer. You're always around it, making sure that you're on your toes, and anything can drop. And that's what he's done there. He's gambled and just followed the ball, and unlucky for the goalkeeper. Is a bit of a.
I thought he had it, and then everyone jumped up, and I was like, wait.
It's the two bites at the cherry. I think he gets the first one wrong, and really he's got so much time for the second one. But so this one he gets wrong, but in the second one he's got so much time, he probably doesn't need to be as rushed and as frantic, but because he's made that mistake and it's so late, he's thinking, gather this in, calm it down, and actually does the opposite. It comes off a Hyams heel, goes through his legs, and Adam Ida, he's just got a knack of being there, especially 90th minute late goals. He's always there, and listen, if that's my second touch and I can come off with a game winner in a Welsh derby, I'm totally delighted to come off the bench and make that impact.
Yeah, and I'm not doing any runs after the game if I do that.
I was just thinking, is he out here? No, he's gone inside. But look, Swansea got back into it. They were always fortunate about this goal, but you felt it was coming, Joby.
Yeah, I mean, we said after the first half they were getting into good areas without really finding that little bit of quality. I thought they were a little bit more patient second half. They've worked the ball, and again, Vipotnik, who doesn't even think, he's just trying to swivel, get a shot, and yes, it takes a deflection, but there was a real positivity around their play. Again, striker who's been in really good form. Listen, you have to take those opportunities on. to get that end result. And
Is it on target? Are we giving it to him?
I'm giving
Yeah, I'll
it to
give
him
it to
all
him.
day. The defender definitely doesn't want it. So it's another one to the tally for Vipotnik, who again, tonight I thought was a real handful, not just obviously for this moment, but is it going off target here? Whoa.
I think
I think
coming back round a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll say it was curling in, shall we? We'll be generous as it's Christmas. Going back to the first half, Cameron Burgess' own goal, Curtis, we've picked it apart. For Vitor Matos, will you have any concerns about how this has happened and how he can prevent it going forward? Is it just one of those things?
It is one of those things. He'd be more disappointed with just the way that Swansea came out. Like you said, they came out with a bit more of a nervous energy. Wrexham probably more on the front foot. And this is just good play by Longman, who started this first 15 minutes really good, really positive, straight, very direct. And like I said, unfortunately, Burgess, just at the timing of him taking that step forward, is as the ball's played in, and then he's unbalanced and lunges back. I'd rather my defender try and block that than let it go behind him, but it's just that slight decision where he goes forward and
I
the
just
ball.
think he gets his feet kind of, for me, in the wrong position, where he takes that
Just
first
shifted his
step
weight.
and then he's turned and he's only ever going to head it one way, Curtis, isn't he? Like, whereas if for me, he doesn't take that step to
Yeah, if
the
he doesn't
right,
take the
takes
step,
one
he's
to his
fine.
left,
Yeah.
and he's coming on to head it. But as soon as he does that, then that ball's coming in.
Yeah.
He gets that contact.
But even if he just didn't move, if he literally
Stays in
just
that
stayed, because where he takes the move, he leans there.
And he's trying to get something
very
on it.
active for the cameras here, but if he stays still, it's all in hindsight. Listen, this is all in hindsight,
Couple of
but
steps
you see
forward there.
Cabango stay still.
Yeah.
Whereas he takes the step forward, thinking get the line up. Well, actually, he's only ever going to fizz it into that area, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he takes the step forward. Unfortunately for him, listen, he does the right thing by trying to recover it by making the block, but puts it in the back of his own net, unfortunately.
Player of the match, Nathan, was someone you and Joby were talking about before the game. He's playing so well at right back. I don't know if he's ever going to go back into midfield at this rate, but what did you like about the way he played tonight?
Yeah, do you know what? He was very calm on the ball. He brought the calmness to the team, and I did see that he found himself inside a little bit as well. So he gave again a different dynamic to the team. He's a good young player, and I actually really want to see him more in midfield. I think that he would have done a good job today, but playing there, like as you can see, threading those balls forward and creating those opportunities to get ahead.
He's so good technically. Again, I watched him quite a bit last season in League One, and there were some games where it was really hectic. And he's the one that always manages to find that little bit of time because he's so good on the ball. He's always in control. These tight little areas, he manipulates the ball so well, and he sees the picture. And it hasn't stopped him playing at right back to go and have the influence. You look at this now, touches, completed passes into the final third. This is from right back, by the way.
We speak about him as a right back, but dare I say it, he's in that like Trent mould where the way the team plays allows him to still be a midfielder from that right back position. He doesn't do his responsibilities at right back. He's still in there. He's still ready to be on the final line. But when they're in possession, you see him rolling in. You see him roaming around the pitch, and he always wants the ball. That's the biggest thing I can say. As a centre half, when you've got a player that's playing full back or in front of you that always wants the ball, and when you give it to him, they're always going to do something good with it. He's an absolute dream.
And also as an attacker as well, you know that you're going to get the ball a lot more as well with him being comfortable at the back there. So it's really important that this team now continues and keeps progressing with that style of play that the manager wants to do, and keeps hurting and keeps probing and getting those shots and scoring those goals, hopefully.
Yeah, it's been a good night for them and a good night for Ethan Galbraith. Not such a good night for Wrexham. They led for much of the game, but in the end have left South West Wales with nothing. We'll hear from Phil Parkinson next. What a night for Vitor Matos and Swansea City, beating Wrexham late on by 2-1 and 3 points just ahead of Christmas for them, again, at home. Wrexham, though, with late heartbreak, a night to forget for Arthur Okongwo as well. Let's get the thoughts of their boss, Phil Parkinson. He's with Johnny Phillips.
Phil, a tough way to lose, but particularly given the start of the match as well. Is it extra frustrating?
Yeah, very frustrating. It's difficult to legislate for the two goals which have gone in against us tonight. The first one is a kind of a double deflection, a tamely hit shots ending up in the back of the net. And obviously the second one, I feel for Big Arthur because he's been outstanding for us, not just this season, but over the last few seasons. And, we do feel for him tonight, but, it was one of those moments where it should never have ended up in the back of our net, and it has, and it's a tough way to lose a game.
I imagine he feels particularly gutted by it as well, but it's important you make that point as well, isn't it, that he's been so good for you?
He's been outstanding for us. We wouldn't have got to where we are without his contribution, and this season he's pulled off some incredible saves in key moments. So yeah, of course, he's going to need picking up, but we'll pick him up, and we'll be ready for the Boxing Day game.
It looked like such a positive start, that opening 15 minutes as well. You got your goal. Was the game plan working to that degree?
Yeah, I was pleased. I thought it was a good move for the goal, and we connected the game well, switched the play. Longy was having a good night, I felt, in the game. Did we consistently connect the game enough? Probably not. We gave the ball away cheaply, but so did they. They kicked the ball out of play a lot. There's a lot at stake tonight. But did we kind of have enough periods in the game where we played with precision and quality, and probably there was a lot of turnovers for both teams in the game. But at the very least, I felt we deserved a draw.
Is it frustrating then, perhaps, that you were more withdrawn after the goal? Do you feel you allowed Swansea greater control? Yeah, I think that's a fair point. We said to the lads, in the half time that the goal kind of lifted them, and we didn't respond, to go and get that second goal, and we took our foot off. I don't know whether we took the foot off the gas, but we just came a bit loose in possession, and we didn't get enough passes in that midfield in that period. And then I felt we came through that, and second half we had some decent periods. But listen, anyone watching the game tonight, to concede 2 goals like that is very tough to lose a game of this importance. It looked at 1-1 as if you were forcing your way back in there and getting that creativity you were looking for.
Yeah, Brody came on and gave us a lift, and Rathbone, obviously we lost Lewis to a dislocated shoulder, which is a shame for him, coming back to the club, but he was on loan here last year. So yeah, we had some decent periods, but obviously probably not enough of those to have gone on really taking the game away from them.
Is that confirmed, a dislocated shoulder for Lewis O'Brien?
Well, first of all, it was a bad tackle from Galbraith on Lewis. I just said to the ref there, it's one of those dangerous challenges, which I think he's lucky that it's not a red. And he's caught him on his knee, but also he's got a dislocated shoulder as well. So yeah, we'll review him over the next couple of days.
Since you've come into the Championship, you've shown yourself to be really competitive and have adapted really, really well. Is the next challenge perhaps that greater game management and being able to, once you get on top, stay on top?
Yeah, once we get on top, go for the jugular and go and kill teams off. And I think we've had that a few times. We've got about the first game of the season at Southampton, really, we were 1-0 up and we had some great chances to kill the game off. But that's about being clinical in the moments. But yeah, of course, we can get better. But, every game, even if you win, you look for improvements. And yeah, I thought there was a lot of turnovers from our point of view tonight. And but like I said, they were probably the same. It was a kind of a tense kind of affair. So we'll review that. We'll have to dust ourselves down and move on to the Christmas period.
Well, thanks for your time, Phil.
Thank you.
Cheers. Safe trip home.
Yeah, Nathan, let's pick up about what Phil Parkinson said about that challenge. Ethan Galbraith on Lewis O'Brien said he's dislocated his shoulder, said it should have been a red. What were your thoughts watching this back?
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think he's just dangled a leg. Loose touch, he's dangled a leg. I don't think it's intent, and it's not malicious at all. It's unfortunate that obviously he fell awkwardly and hurt his shoulder, ankle, whichever he's done in there. But yeah, not for me.
Yeah, dislocated shoulder apparently, so a nasty one, but it ended the yellow for Ethan Galbraith. And obviously he went on to get player of the match after that, so maybe Phil Parkinson's feeling a little bit aggrieved if he disagrees. Wrexham dropping points from winning positions, that's the most in the league now, Curtis. How much of that is concerning for their fans?
It'll be concerning for Phil as well, because what he spoke about there is a team that he didn't believe they stepped off it. He said he thought they got a bit loose, whereas I actually do think they stepped off it. We see in the first half that, listen, you come into Swansea, you come into their backyard, you don't want to give them anything to get back into the game. So, seeing out the first half and trying to be in the lead is one thing. But then you need to be a time in the game and say, right, now we engage again. We've got good players. We've got good quality within our squad. Let's go and get a second goal to kill off the game. That's what we would always get told in the change room. You get the next goal. You get the next goal. And I don't think that was ever on their agenda. I felt they went into that position of securing it. They made substitutions, in my opinion, that maybe looked more like a securing it type substitutions, with O'Brien and Matty James coming on. And then straight after that, Pundit scores, and then after that, it's game on for Swansea.
Yeah, I think it's a question of control or lack of control in games when it comes to Wrexham. I mean, that and those stats there, it's a trend. It's not once or twice it's happened. It's an awful amount of points that they've dropped. And for me, when you watch Wrexham play, they have to find a way to just have a bit more control at certain times of games, particularly when they are taking the lead on occasions, so many occasions. I just didn't think they did that tonight. I don't think they've done that well enough over the course of the season, and I think that's the big difference. I've seen Wrexham in the National League, in League 2, in League 1, where they've had better players than everybody else, so they can get away with that.
But could they get better players, Joe?
It's not the players, Michelle. They've got players now that are of the level that they operate at. There's no doubt about that.
Because they've had this new investment. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, so they've got these new owners of Athletic Madrid, Apollo Sports Management. They've invested in the last few weeks. So are you saying no, they don't need to spend more money, or could they throw some more money at it in January?
No, it's not just throwing money. I mean, you look at the recruitment, which I think has been really smart. Yes, they've spent money, but proper championship players, Josh Windass, Ben Sheaf, Dom Hyam, throughout the whole team, players that are more than capable at this level.